Welcome back to The Real Rejects. I'm Greg Alba.
I'm John Humphrey. Welcome back to The Real Rejects.
New Rockstars, one of our favorite channels here. Batman, full Batsuit revealed, Catwoman and Batcycle seen. I was out of town this weekend. I did see a little bit on social media about this coming out. Didn't have time to talk about it, unfortunately. John could have done a video. Didn't. Shame. 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 Shame.
Shame.
Anywho, if you guys haven't subscribed to New Rockstars yet, you gotta make sure to do that as soon as you can. Let's check this out.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Eric Voss, and the Batman with Robert Pattinson and the Cowl gave us our first official look at the character in test footage, and now some set photos and video have revealed Brucey in action, or I should say a stunt double that weirdly looks a lot like Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
I miss this life. Put me back in. Whoa, shit! There are actually a number of interesting visual clues in this costume design. Yeah, we actually already started breaking down
Is that the guy's face, or is that like
in the recent
CGI
dots
for dots?
You really gotta check it
Okay.
out. But here, I'm gonna break down the new things we found and what this footage could tell us about this movie's story. Because honestly, it's probably a little soon to rush to judgment over whether the cowl and ears match what was in your head.
But you're New
And I'm gonna
Rockstars,
explain why
man.
You can spare your talk.
I'm not wearing hockey pants.
Yeah, that includes you, Bale. Spoiler warning in case any of this is revealing too much about the movie for you, even though I do not have any inside information about this movie's plot. This is really just speculation using the same covered eyes and stabby ears that we all
down
have.
up here at the bottom left of the screen.
On what looks like a new Batcycle, with spiky bat ears on the handlebars that will definitely poke out someone's eye as he rides
I need
through
spiky
cemetery with
bat
a
ears on the
female
handle.
companion, some of whom are
case I
saying
crash,
could be
I'll stab
Selena
myself.
Kyle, Catwoman. This angle of Batman shows us the ears of Batman's cowl, which looks sharp as hell, like a bit thorny, as if his head was covered in tar and just like pinched and stretched up into 2 points.
Look at the
And you just sort of
pockets.
Stupid. Don't worry, just kind of rotate it to the side, and hey, it looks a lot more classic. As we speculated from the test footage, the eyepieces are indeed covered, making me think at least this cowl could be a kind of biker helmet, and those eyepieces could be goggles. His shoulders and arms
That makes
are covered
sense.
in heavy padding.
I'm not wearing hockey pants.
But most interesting to me are his gauntlets. They are lined with these
Gauntlet!
like pointed quills, maybe some kind of projectiles that fire off, or maybe just pens for Batman to try to replicate the Joker's magic trick. Some have pointed out that these gauntlets resemble the ones worn by Talon. Talon is a DC character, a kind of villain turned Batman ally, former assassin for Gotham's Court of Owls, a shadowy cult that secretly controls the city, similar to how the League of Shadows was depicted in Chris Nolan's Batman Begins. But going further down the suit, you can see a holster and some pouches, maybe for Batman's grappling gun.
Utility
and his chest
belt.
emblem looks even more detachable and weapony here.
Yeah, in that lighting, it really does look like a gun.
The gun, like the gun that killed his parents. But even more clearly here, you can see the edges of the wings look sharpened as if edges of knives. And again, check out that episode of Big Question to see us reverse engineering this Mythbuster style to determine whether it's more likely a batarang or two knives back to back. We use science. We figured it out. And you'll notice
I would
on
love
the
if the
stunt
movie
actor's
does
face
not
are a
acknowledge
few
this.
dots. Those are likely for the VFX team to digitally cover the stand-in's face.
Thought he just had a bunch of
Pattinson's
moles.
beautiful face. Remember, as we saw in the video, it is raining, the roads are slippery, you do not want Pretty Boy Edward eating it day one of production. Now, Batman on his Batcycle.
Tom
This
Cruise
may
would have done
remind
it.
you of the Batman
would've.
0 Year comics. But
broken
there's
all his
enough
bones.
context here to actually start to piece together some of the story of this
I gotta
movie.
read that.
This imagery is coming from the Batman's production in Glasgow, Scotland. Atop a hill in the city to the east of Glasgow Cathedral is the Victorian-era necropolis cemetery. That's what this is. Now, Batman could be a cemetery for
cool.
any number of reasons. He's kind of a gloomy Gus. Visiting the graves of, I don't know, Thomas and Martha Wayne would probably be a bit ill-advised while you're also taking the trouble to disguise yourself as a Batman. Oh, why is Batman visiting the graves of the Waynes? Martha! That said, this movie's working title is Vengeance. And as we explored in the last episode of Rogue Theory, it would be very interesting to see a Batman motivated by revenge for the murder of Dick Grayson or Jason Todd. Now, I know you're going to say this will be a younger Bruce Wayne and classically Batman.
There better be a
team up with
Nightwing,
Robin
and he better not be
until he's a bit
dead.
older. But maybe director Matt Reeves is exploring a version of Batman in which he begins his vigilante journey as part of a partnership, but then loses that partner in the first year. But the reason people are pushing this is there have been some casting rumors seeking circus skills, with some chatter that Timothée Chalamet could be a good fit in some kind of flying grace scene.
Yeah.
There have
Yeah.
also been some photos taken around the Glasgow area showing signs for a Gotham
go-to
renewal
young guy
corporation
now.
investing in our future Gotham orphanage. Orphanage. You know how people put up signs for orphanages all over the place? Hey, look over here! Feel
Get
good
your
about
orphan
these
today!
kids. I think about a bunch of kids whose parents died. Don't cry too hard. not on your way to work. Folks, in Batman math, an orphanage in the movie equals a Robin figure in the movie. But while we're considering rumor and speculation, another report I think is very
one
important
orphan.
to mind is that we could be seeing 2 Batsuits in this film. So if you are not a fan of the suit in these set photos and videos, we could just be looking at an early prototype that gets replaced or destroyed early on in the film.
Or
This
that's
is
just-
often the case in movies.
that's
of this
just what he
film.
needs
It's
to
also
wear
possible that we're looking at
for
a
riding a
beefed
bike.
up version of the suit with padding specifically just for the stunt performer. And the one Pattinson suits up in for close-ups will be trimmed down for a better silhouette. Ultimately, what interests me most about these images is the fact that Batman is joined by this other character. She's got a helmet on, and it's likely another stunt actor, but one well-known dark-clad Gotham woman who drives a motorcycle is Selena Kyle. Interest too, but I don't see her crossbow, and she already got a movie. Batman's relationship with Catwoman has often been somewhat altruistic.
Whoa.
But if we assume that this is early in the
pregnant?
film, with that suit being
Yeah,
replaced
had a kid.
sometime later,
No, I
maybe
know.
there will be an early
Never seen that
partnership
panel.
between Batman and Selena Kyle that doesn't last forever. Our buddy Jeff pitched a pretty great theory about Batman and Catwoman's dark love affair in this film that I just really enjoyed. Be sure to check that out. Now, when these photos and videos dropped, we were all over them in New Rockstar's official Discord server. Alternate theories for Batman's
Follow
new
them on
outfits,
Discord, people.
How much he weighs just by eyeballing it. Our Discord is really the place where the unfiltered conversation is going on between our staff and our inner circle of supporters. You can join our Discord today by becoming a patron of New Rockstars at patreon.com/newrockstars. Comment
Love how
down
it's
below
always
your
said
thoughts on this
501
new Batman
patrons.
suit. Follow me
I'm sure they
at
got
Boss,
more than
follow
that.
New Rockstars on social media, and
Eat
subscribe to New
Boss.
Rockstars for breakdowns
kick
of
people
every
out when they
Thank
get
you
to
for
502.
watching, and hey, Gotham's future's looking bright because someone keeps burning all them orphanages. The parents are dead, and now they're homeless too. But them fires are bright, so you need goggles on your stabby Batman man.
Where's
This
the
is-
Ridge sponsorship
I know.
or something? I
Where's-
love
here,
it.
hold on.
Your
I got
shout
it.
outs.
The Ridge wallet. They make these great metal-plated wallets. They're secure. You can't scan through them to steal your info. They also save a lot of space.
Very cool.
Very cool.
I got a theory, New Rockstars, that you guys did not present here. Maybe instead of an early prototype Batsuit, there are 2 Batmans in this movie. How mind-boggling would that be? You should have just thrown it out there.
Multiverse.
Obviously, that's not the case, but you're New Rockstars. You're supposed to make the craziest predictions ever. And that would have been fine coming from you guys. From us, we just sound like a bunch of idiots. But from you guys, people would have been like, maybe they have a point. You guys missed out on an opportunity.
You have credibility. It's your job to wield it.
You should have done it.
This is the most bit-heavy New Rockstars video I think I've seen thus far.
Because they didn't have a Ridge sponsorship this time
I
around. They had
know.
to fill that gap. The Batcycle does look pretty cool. Looks neat. We haven't really seen it in action just yet in terms of how it will play out in a full sequence. I mean, it would be really difficult to top what they did, especially in The Dark Knight. I remember the first time I watched The Dark Knight, the Batcycle pops out of the Batmobile.
Yeah.
Everyone applauded in the theater. And just that whole sequence is so grand. After so many years, I think it's fair to try to top a Batcycle sequence.
I mean, if you're gonna bring it back, it's one of his iconic vehicles, and yeah, it's been so much time since The Dark Knight. You gotta give it your all. You gotta try and throw that stunt flair in there.
I'm not a fan of the bat symbolism on the. I don't know what a motorcycle is.
You mean like the actual bat ears on the front part?
Yeah, I don't know the names of sections of bikes. All right.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but that idea
Just above the handlebars.
that
yeah.
just does not seem smart to me. That
Seems
seems
like you would
very
impale yourself.
dangerous. And he was aesthetically putting this together. Like, what's he telling the guy whoever put it together? I want it to look like a bat symbol because I'm Batman.
Because I'm Batman. Oh.
That just looks like because I'm Batman kind of thing you say
People
in that moment. Just let
aren't
me look
gonna
at that.
get it when I roll up with my bat suit on. I need it to be even more obvious.
Can't just be a regular motorcycle. This needs to look like a Batman motorcycle.
Well, yeah, because
get it done, Alfred.
Because Catwoman's on a regular motorcycle right next to him.
Yeah,
he
it
can't
should
be
look like cat ears.
Yeah.
On her motorcycle. But the theory of Catwoman and Batman working together for a good portion of this film, that just makes a lot of sense. It's Batman and Catwoman. They're always either at odds or working together or have sexual tension. It's one of the 3 that you usually get with those 2. I like the idea of them working together early on. The thing of like early Batman and that this might be a prototype suit, or maybe it's just what he decides to put on when he's gonna ride his motorcycle. I gotta change.
I need my Sunday bat suit.
I need my bike bat suit.
Yeah, exactly. He's got one for every occasion. Maybe that's it.
I'm bike bat.
Bike bat. Yeah, and then later on he's Arrow Bat when he actually starts using whatever those things on his wrists are, on his gauntlets.
It's because, like, when we're talking so much about early stage Batman, early prototypes, and I brought this up in the reaction we did for the Batman First Look for New Rockstars. A lot of the talk has been about how this Robert Pattinson version is going to be a younger Batman and maybe early days Batman, but we got all these, like, Batman villains already in existence here, supposedly. Riddler, Penguin, Catwoman. You got all these characters around, so it can't be too early in the Batman stages, right? Unless there's also an origin tale of Penguin and Riddler. But from the way that news reports have been getting pitched our way, it sounded like they have existed for a while at least.
Yeah, and it sounds like Arkham Asylum is going to play some kind of role and maybe even a prominent setting of the movie. And if you're going to be in there, I'd have to imagine that you have to have some aspect of the Rogues Gallery already in existence, already at play in here.
I love the idea. I didn't even think about that, of the Court of Owls playing a part in this Batman movie, or maybe having them be some type of overarching underground villain amongst it all. Because League of Shadows, they're kind of like, you know, assassins, warrior, temple people. And there's some iterations, even in the Gotham show, actually, where the League of Shadows and the Court of Owls are connected to one another in some way. They're a lot more on, like, the political eyes wide shut kind of category. You know, and I think they'd be a cool, menacing secret society that has been controlling Gotham, which is what the Court of Owls is. But I think to have that play a factor into this new Batman franchise would be pretty cool, actually. It's something we haven't gotten yet. I feel like for the political climate we live in today, it could be somewhat relevant.
Yeah, actually, that would be, I think that's a great point. Like, I don't know a heap ton about the Court of Owls. Potentially crash into the other elements of the Rogues Gallery that you have because, you know, it seems like this movie is going to stand on its own to a degree. It doesn't seem like it needs to be weighed down by connecting to all the other DC things, and I find it interesting, especially now that we're diverting even further from the original ensemble DC setup. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot of potential, and I think it would be awesome to explore some things like that because they have announced some very well-known characters in connection, or there are speculations of very well-known characters. It would be cool to get something that's a little less off the mainstream beaten path. Plus that Talon character, I mean, he really, at least in those comic panels, reminded me of Night Owl from Watchmen. But, you know, to get a similar Batman-esque character, or even just a hint at that character, would be a cool addition as well, I think.
I think also, too, in the type of lighting, though, when they were showing down the Bat emblem, there's so much talk about the Bat emblem. Is it a detractable batarang? Are they two guns? Are they a gun that's been sliced in half? After looking at this image, it's the first time I'm like, oh, I'm actually pretty sold on the fact that it's a gun split in half. This was the first time I've ever seen that image. Weirdly looking at a close-up on the red lighting noir thing that we got of the camera test footage, I wasn't sold on it, but looking at it here, it really does look like that.
No, yeah, like looking at the details, it almost looked like literally somebody sawed a gun in half and then like pounded it down and sharpened the edges and made him some kind of weird gun hand knife, you know, which, hey, is like pretty twisted in its own right, just as a personal way to hack somebody up, like the rage that symbol carries.
Yeah, I think if they were to tease a Robin to come, I don't want there to be much emphasis on it. I would like it if it's like a slight background nugget, not even like a obvious Easter egg of sorts. Like you really gotta read into it to be able to be like, oh, they at least planted a seed of sorts where we could get a Robin in the next movie. We don't even know the details of this story, but it already seems like there's so much going on in this that to introduce a brand new Robin, it just seems like a lot to do in one film.
Well, and then, you know, especially right now, it seems like DC is thriving in these one-off kind of capacity, and so I think it would be, you know, Batman seems like a pretty safe bet, even if the bets aren't always safe anymore, and I think that building up to a new Robin would be a cool thing rather than just making it another aspect that you crammed in this movie, especially because it's been a long time. Like we had Chris O'Donnell and then we had Joseph Gordon-Levitt, which wasn't like a full-on Robin, and so to actually build up to in the next movie, you know, in the Batman 2, maybe there is a young character who he does take on as his apprentice, could be a cool thing to actually finally see in the live action sphere too. So yeah, I hope they don't go out of their way to shoehorn a Robin in, because especially if he's young Batman, it seems like that would happen a bit later on.
That whole theory that it's like the way how they set up Ben Affleck's Batman, how there was a dead Robin beforehand, presumably Jason Todd. I don't want that in here. Especially when you keep saying it's early Batman. Like, no, let's get a first Robin. Let's get a Dick Grayson in here.
Yeah.
Come on. Everybody loves Dick Grayson. Gotta say it. Just gotta say Grayson really fast after that first name, because YouTube will totally misread that. All right, guys. Well, what are your theories on this footage? It's gonna be like this for the next year and a half. Subscribe to New Rockstars if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to The Real Rejects. Click that notification bell. Follow New Rockstars on Discord. We don't have one. All right, video's done.